Big bodies are still in the meta of GuiltyGearStrive. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how they're being so strong in the current version of Strive, but also how it's not so bad. It could be so much more worse, if I'm honest with you. Don't get me wrong, I know I play big bodies, so it's going to come from a bit of a biased perspective. All the big bodies in my mind are at least in top 10, one of them definitely being in the top 2. I want to exclude Bedman though, because the character is a bit inconsistent, despite the fact I'd say his strength was about top 15. Has been getting a lot of really good results recently. It's debatable, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at the results of the characters that are running the show right now, aka Potemkin, Lewis and Noriyuki, and then talk about why specifically they're strong in this patch. Result wise, Lewis is never missing out in the top 8. I think he's made it into almost every top 8 I've seen, both in NA and EMEA. Looking at online and offlines, it's clear that Lewis is definitely up there. The only thing he didn't get a result in, I believe, was Japan. And Combo Breaker's coming up with some really good NA Gold Lewises, so if we see a result there, might continue to prove something. Looking at the Gold Lewis win rate, it is one of the highest in the game right now. So in a ranked sense, he's also running the game there. You're not safe from the Behemoth Typhoon. And Noriyuki is a weird one. He doesn't really have any tournament results because not many Noriyukis play the game online. The best I could find was Hotashi, who's able to make top 8 in TNS twice. And would you look who's also in that top 8? The Fat Boy. The Nago's results are definitely decent, but not a lot of them compete. But if you look at the ranked statistics for the win rate in every matchup, he is one of the highest yet again. Definitely a winner for sure. So Noriyuki wins a lot, as so does Lewis in terms of playing ranked. So where you're playing in your most casual setting, he's there. And lastly, you've got the big grappler, Potemkin. Now, Potemkin in my mind definitely got hit a ton in the patch, but there's some things that kind of compensate and made him decent. Obviously, first thing you've got a result, Japan. Abi Sarif, a fantastic Brazilian Potemkin, was able to get into top 8. Very well done. He did have a difficult time fighting Darius, but besides that, getting into top 8 in the first offline major is a big deal, so did fantastic. Edit and Panda here, just wanted to quickly say I forgot about my offline result because I'm the first offline champ, but that was a regional, so it's not as a grand scale as something like Japan, but first one being Potemkin in Scottish, I think that's pretty cool. Online results is not really a ton either, not a ton of Potemkins playing online, unless you look towards EMEA where you see big man Andros, and as you see here, he's a winner. And not to mention, when we look at big man Andros's win rate, it's quite fucking sad, if I'm honest. I love Andros, he's my homie, I love that guy. 90%! That's quite fucking high, isn't it? But yeah, the Potemkin win rate is still very high, and one of the best players in the world on Potemkin is genuinely disgusting on him. And if you look at Varix's win rate, it's kind of the same thing. You get my point. In terms of online win rate, Potemkin, Lewis, and Noriyuki are within the top 15 at least for winning a crap ton in the most casual setting where you can play a little bit competitively. Online, they're doing well. In offlanes, it's hard to see some of the results for a lot of them, but Lewis is a definite standout. So this begs the question, why are these characters doing so well in a little bit of a lower damage version of the game? There's quite a lot of factors. One is something that they all share. High health. High health is fantastic for this version of the game because with the damage going down across the board on a lot of the characters, they don't have to worry about being exploded like they did last patch. So big health is a big deal, and Noriyuki definitely got a health buff as they up in his defensive value whenever he's at higher blood. No longer Zao health, but more like a Kai Kisuke type health range. The other thing, in a low damage meta, these guys do a ton of damage. Still some of the few characters that can do season 4 damage off of the right hit, so visually and gameplay wise, you should still be very scared of what these characters can do. That's what they all share universally, but this is where we get into a little bit more individual-wise. Lewis kind of remained the same in terms of what he does in offense. Behemoth pressure, high-low, strike throw, all that type of crap. But the main thing that makes him disgusting in this version of the patch is they buffed the catching of escape tools. Beforehand, Far Slash and 2S were kind of dead tools, not really good in neutral, but now that they carry dash momentum and got better hitboxes, and the opponent no longer was flying on hit on Far Slash, gives him a consistent backdash call out, meaning he's always getting a knockdown on all of his tools now. This is why Goldlewis is so scary, because escaping him wasn't a big deal before. Now it is. So he can play neutral is the best way to put it. That's why Goldlewis is scary this patch. It isn't because he's using White Wild Assault or BSing, it's because he can genuinely play neutral now. Now Potemkin is an odd one, because in my opinion, it feels like he was one of the more nerfed out of these three. He definitely got nerfed to hell compared to Noriyuki, Goldlewis. Like he's way lower. But he's still in the top 10. The nerfs are a big deal. All of his best plays came from PRC, and hitting that across the board makes him a little less busted. Not being able to throw PRC, get more damage on a PRC play to do with throw. You get the idea. He's no longer as degenerate because he isn't going to kill you. And PRC to Heavenly Gone, that's also a big deal. This was like the call out if you had meter. Now it's like, whatever, you know? So despite these massive nerfs in my mind, and again, massive nerfs, these are huge for Potemkin, he got buffed in scary ways. For example, walk speed. My man can walk fast now. He isn't zooming, but he can walk fast, moving at a very quick speed. This allows him to play into matchups that are actually tricky for him before in the last patch. For example, Goldlewis can't do anything about him now. Goldlewis loses pretty hard to Potemkin in my mind. Characters like Bridget have to genuinely be careful about his footsies because he can move into spaces a lot quicker. You get my point. And then you mix that with 6H, this continues to make it harder for other characters. Characters where he can play outside of their danger zone. This is a wall they need to get by. It makes him do committal plays like doing jump overs on reaction and stuff like that, and when he's got meter or if he's smart enough he can delay himself and call you out for the jump in. So 6H becoming a real neutral tool with a ton of reward is scary, and this is why he's doing as well as he is. This is why you need to genuinely be cautious when your neutral is smaller than Potemkin's. However, Potemkin still hard loses to zoners like Axel, so that's a good thing. That is a good thing. He isn't just going to run a tournament scene because if the right character's there, he stopped in his tracks. But here's the thing that I really want to get into. Noriyuki. This character was hardly nerfed. Only thing that you can consider a nerf for Noriyuki is White Wild Assault disappearing and close slash anti-air. However, everything else is without a doubt a buff. It's a buff. He doesn't really use PRC plays like Potemkin and Goldlewis does, so he isn't really missing out on a lot of damage. And Wild Assault wasn't as good on him as it is on Goldlewis, so he doesn't care that that's gone. And again, they buffed his health, so he's tankier. And making 2S combo into 5H at higher blood is genuinely really strong. It makes him super consistent now. Here's the issue. This is why Noriyuki is the threat of the current patch. Credit cards. This tool is so goddamn good. Being able to delay blood is genuinely a good design. I like the design of this move. Again, I think it's like a 9 out of 10 design when it comes to special moves. However, it needs to be toned a wee bit, because he can get away with some cheeky stuff. It being plus on block and a low allows him to stagger into low so he can challenge you as an interruption. And being able to poke away to return his blood back to a decent state when the install is done is very strong. In my mind, I don't think it should be plus, but maybe neutral on block. And then the other thing that I would do to adjust this is make it so it uses a minimal amount of blood every time it's used. So he has to use a certain number of pokes to lower his blood back into a safe point. Because I want this special move to be seen as a last gambit. This is a last play for Noriyuki, and if he messes up, if he doesn't get enough blood back, or if he doesn't kill or bite, he dies. And that's the whole point. And we kind of need to punish that a bit more. The design is fantastic, we just need a couple of nerfs to really hone it in and make it a better special move. This is why big bodies are doing well in a lower damage meta. Having more health is good and doing more damage is even better. Again, I don't think the big bodies are dominant as other YouTubers have been thinking. I do think that the big bodies are strong without a doubt, but there are characters that are just as strong or do just as well in the current patch. For example, in a lot of them where Red was getting into the onlanes of TNS, they were losing to other characters. Places where Hotashi was doing well with Noriyuki, he lost to other characters. So I'm not going to sit here and be all like, big bodies are ruining the game, because they're not. They are certainly doing well in the game in one specific place. Ranked matches. Like I said earlier, when it came to a lot of the results, the main reason why people don't like fighting big bodies in this current patch, you play in ranked, you're going to see them a lot. And 9 times out of 10, they tend to win. If you're a casual player that likes playing ranked, or maybe a player that just wants to get better in general, you're going to see a hell of a lot of these guys. But if you're in a tournament setting, where you've been practicing, getting better over time, you can definitely handle these characters, unless the matchup's not in your favor. Like, don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. If the matchup is not in your character's favor, fair enough. But I do think these characters are not ruining the game. but are certainly standing out in the game. But that's everything I've got to say today. I hope you guys enjoy. Be sure to like, hype, and sub, and tell me what you think about the big bodies in this current meta of the game. Because again, I don't think they're busted, but I do think they're a standout, and Noriyuki might be one of the best characters in the game. He's a genuine case for a problem. Noriyuki, yeah, he's definitely strong. I'm gonna go back to playing some Leon Must Die Forever. I fucking hate that game mode, but I also love it at the same time. I'm stuck on rank 5. I'm having difficulties, what can I say? But I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.